What's up, guys? Welcome back to JD TV. My name is JD, and today we're going to be figuring out who the greatest football player to ever live is. Before we get into the video, I just want to give a quick shout out to my friend Owen's channel. It's called OG77, and he just started his channel, so yeah, make sure to go subscribe. Links in the description. Okay, so when you're thinking about who the greatest football players of all time is, it's really hard because a lot of players are really good at their certain positions, but they're only on the field they're only on the field at half the time, so it's a lot harder to determine who the greatest football player ever is. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna tell you a greatest defensive player of all time, then I'm gonna tell you the greatest player on the offensive side of the ball. So when we're talking about the best football player in history on the offensive side of the ball, there's been some really good wide receivers, Randy Moss, Jerry Rice. There's been some really good running backs like Barry Sanders, but you have to pick a quarterback when you're on the offensive side of the ball. I think it's just because it's probably the most important position in all of sports, really. And so, yeah, well, there's been Tom Brady, who recently won his 7th Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I want it, I got it.
Joe Montana. There is Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning. Is this gonna stop it? Still going? Okay. But I don't think Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Terry Bradshaw, all of those people compared to Joe Montana and Tom Brady. So both of these guys have won multiple Super Bowls. They both did have really stacked teams, just kind of like Wayne Gretzky in the hockey video. But I feel like if you don't have a good quarterback, in most cases, if you don't have a good quarterback, you won't win a Super Bowl, because it's just the most important position. You can't do anything without it. So Tom Brady and Joe Montana both had pretty good teams. I would say Tom Brady had the better team for all of his Super Bowl wins. Like the other most notable player on Joe Montana's team was Jerry Rice, another Hall of Famer. And Tom Brady, Julian Edelman, Rob Gronkowski, he had stops there. But he had Randy Moss for earlier in his career, and great defenses for definitely his most recent Super Bowls. That definitely helped him a lot. Like if he were on a different team, I don't think if he was on a different team, had a different coach, he probably doesn't win 7 Super Bowls. But he still is, because of that team that made him really good. So I'm just saying that because he wouldn't be as good. He might not be good. He might not have been good at all if it wasn't for the Patriots or wasn't for Bill Belichick. You might not have ever heard of Tom Brady. You might not have ever played a game. A lot of credit does go to his team, but he still was really good because of his team. Maybe in his later Super Bowls, you can make a case that, especially in Tampa Bay, you can make a case that a lot of the team did a lot of the work for him. I still think he is the GOAT. I think he's the greatest player of all time, and yeah, and he's been doing it for so long. He's been doing it since when did he start? He was drafted in 1999. He played his first season in 2001, when Drew Bledsoe got hurt, and he's been dominant that's a little bit of a shock. He's been good ever since, and obviously won 7 Super Bowls, and especially it's amazing how he's done it with his age. He's double the age of some people in the NFL, which is nuts. Joe Burrow, he's more than double Joe Burrow's age. Don't fact check that. I don't know that for sure. It's also a factor in his argument. for Joe Montana, he only won 4 Super Bowls. He did not play as long, and he definitely was not as good for long. And he was not as good for as long as Tom Brady. He was definitely good for a while as for a quarterback, and he did do a lot more with a lot little. But Tom Brady still won double Super Bowls, almost double Super Bowls, and I just think 7 Super Bowls, I don't think you can count them out. So Tom Brady is the greatest player on the offensive side of the ball. I don't think anybody will disagree with me on that one, but the defensive side of the ball, we'll get to it. So on the defensive side of the ball, I think the 2 players that have the best case is Deion Sanders and Lawrence Taylor. And Lawrence Taylor, he won a Super Bowl. He beat the Bills, and he was like, I don't know. I think it's not because he won a Super Bowl. He had to have been the best linebacker of all time, definitely. But I just can't name anyone better than him, because he was so fast. He was so strong. He was like a freak of nature. I just can't think of anyone better than Lawrence Taylor. So yeah, there you have it. Lawrence Taylor and Tom Brady are the greatest NFL players of all time. And fun fact, they both had the same coach at one point. Not the same head coach, but they did have the same coach. Bill Belichick was a defensive coordinator for the Giants. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. We are so close to 100 subscribers. So, yeah. Peace.